Welcome back to Change Ed,
Change Ed.
your favorite podcast to tune into and listen to all things education. I am one of your hosts, Andrew Kuhn, education
It
consultant.
feels hard for you to say. You stutter every time.
Well, I have to think about it. Education consultant from Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. Here with me is
Patrice Semichek, also out of the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit and an educational consultant.
and everyone's favorite SDF.
Tony Marabito, Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit.
SDF?
Can we just remind everyone?
Staff development facilitator. I mean, whatever you want to.
We don't. We have to say it every time. I feel like we say it every time.
Yeah, educator. I like that one.
You know, when the
Learner.
fan mail, which we all know we've been getting more
Speaking
fan mail.
of, if you're going to send fan mail, we need to know how to contact you.
Yeah, give us contact information, because it's actually been amazing.
We would love to have some of you on, but
and they say, "Hey, look, I love to talk. Let's connect."
Maybe we should wrap up our episode saying that.
Yeah.
Going on. Yeah.
We should, not that this is something we have to do right now, but before we leave today, we should record like a little boop that we can say every time.
At the end. Yeah,
we can
I
just
agree.
slap it right in.
A little boop. Let's put a little boop in there.
Please introduce our guest.
All right. Well, I have the distinct privilege of welcoming this guest into the space. I actually met this guest last year at the SAS conference.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
I did.
He didn't run away from you.
Well,
He
I
didn't
mean,
know.
that's
He
everyone.
didn't know any better.
But when people run, I know how to
After-
chase them down. I
after you met Andrew.
know what
Gotcha.
to do.
He's been working on his running.
I am so honored to welcome and introduce to you the two-time heavy worldweight champion
Oh.
and the reigning Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year, Leon Smith.
Yay!
Welcome, Leon.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We are super thrilled and excited to have you. And actually, this has been a long time coming because we met, what was it,
Almost a year
last
ago.
December. And I'm like,
Wow.
we're going to have you on the show. And here we are 2 months away from the end of your
From the
tenure.
next one, right?
During this poor man's prep period. too,
We
that
did
he's
it.
giving us
Yes.
his
Yes.
time.
So Leon, you are obviously actively a teacher. If you don't mind, just tell our audience a little bit about yourself so we have a better idea of who this heavyweight champion is.
First of all, just thank you for letting me be on your podcast. I really appreciate it. It's something just for me, I listen to education podcasts like just in my free time. So I enjoy just talking about education. But yeah, my name is Leon Smith. I'm in my 25th year of teaching high school social studies at Haverford High School in Delaware County, AP U.S. history. I teach AP African American Studies. I teach an elective African American Studies course for students that, don't necessarily want to take AP. And then I also teach 20th century pop culture, which is also an elective as well.
Oh, fun.
That's
What
awesome.
a fun
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, it's a good schedule this year. I also coach the 9th grade basketball team. And then also outside of school, I've recently got into policy work. So affiliated with Teach Plus Pennsylvania, and I was a policy fellow there for a couple years. And then now I'm working at the federal level with Teach Plus, doing policy work at the federal level and just, advocating for policies that can support students and teachers. And so that's really been exciting
That's
for me.
very cool.
Yeah, just really seeing like how important our voice is as educators, like outside of the classroom. So
What got you started into all of the Teach Plus work, or how'd you get involved?
I think it was around 2018, 2019. And I feel like a lot of teachers feel this way. I kind of was at a point where I was like, all right, like I still obviously love to teach, but I wanted to see like what else was going on. And I met Laura Boyce, who's the executive director at Teach Plus, and she told me about a fellowship they had. And at that time, I was really passionate about how to get more educators into the classroom, particularly educators of color, because for many years there were no educators of color in my building. And so Teach Plus had these different strands that you could do as a policy fellow. You could do literacy, you could do early childhood education. And so one of their strands was expanding and diversifying the educator pipeline. And it was something that I had been reading about on my own. I had just been reading about like the legacy of educators from the past. And so I was like, whoa, like I actually get a chance to do a fellowship where I can like nerd out about something I'm very passionate about. And I mean, I haven't stopped since. It just like unlocked me.
That's awesome.
Your speech that you gave, your acceptance speech for winning the Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year, was so authentic. And, you shared so much about yourself. Truly, that was like, we've got to have this gentleman on the show. I mean, he's He's the real deal. I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit with the audience. As you reflect back, what are the things that are so important to you? You've actually mentioned some of them already. Because, again, a testament to how genuine you are. You're like, this is who I am. This is what I care about. But, what would you say are some of those things for you that really just resonate with you so strongly?
I think it's so important for students just to have somebody that believes in them. I think one of the things that I've learned throughout my career is just the power of an educator. Certainly you think about the fact that everybody remembers their favorite teacher. One of the things that I enjoy is when I speak to audiences, just asking them who their favorite teacher is. And just this joy comes on everyone. And so that really is striking to me. And the ability as an adult to see something in a young person that they may not see in themselves is really so powerful to me, because I see it a lot of times when I'm encouraging my students, like, they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, like you can do that, and I feel so blessed to have that opportunity, because that's really what I want to do. Like, I just want to help them reach their highest potential. But I also realize that, it can go the other way too. And so that's why I think it's important for our teachers to be supported, to make sure that we understand what we're asking teachers to do, because teachers can certainly not pour from an empty cup, and if teachers are just drained and stressed out, then that's going to impact the students. So that's something that's really important to me. And then I would also add just the importance of representation. When I was in school, I never had a teacher that looked like me. And, when I was going through just kind of growing up and where to fit in, there wasn't a lot of adults in the school where I could kind of look at them and maybe just talk to them a little bit, pick their brain, get a feeling like it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I did have a student teacher one time when I was in 10th grade. And that was the first glimpse I had of an educator in the building where I could say, like, all right, there we go.
You could see yourself there.
It just meant a lot to me. And so that really inspired me. I also used to watch the Cosby Show, and towards the later years, Theo started to do some mentoring. And I always thought it was so cool the way the kids looked at him. It was almost like a rock star, the other students. And so, as I got into my first position, which I've been in for 25 years, I was like, this is crazy that the actual reason why I became a teacher is now what I'm experiencing, where I'm here for 20 years and there's like not one other teacher that looks like me. And so I said, well, what can I do? Because this is such an amazing profession. What's happening here? Where's the disconnect? And that's what really inspired me to try to figure out what we need to do to remove obstacles to get more people to become teachers, because I think that we are the people that have such an ability to change the world.
Yep. Yeah. So what have you found in your research and what you're digging into? What have you found the obstacles to be?
Well, certainly, I think one of the things that pops in my mind is the testing, the Praxis. Yeah. I know that's an obstacle for people. There are people that I met this one young man who, and sometimes even the GPA, this one young man had like a 2.9 and the 3.0 is what you need. Yeah. And he taught in an alternative school for a year. Like he did all the things and they were just like, nope. And I'm just sitting there
that's
like,
so crazy.
What are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? And even to the extent where, we have teacher apprenticeship, we have teacher residency. So even if you want to say that there's a probationary period, but at least have that teacher supported by a master teacher that can guide them, because, we don't want to just turn people away that have it, that just have that.
Because you can have a 4.0 and not have it.
See, you already know. So that's part of it. And I would also say, too, financial barriers. That's why I think it's so great with the student teacher stipend that we have in Pennsylvania now, because, we understand that that's a hardship, that's college education. And to ask people to just stop working. And
to pay to work. You have to pay to work.
Right. Correct.
For a semester or more. Yeah, it's crazy.
And when you get out, you're going to have loans and things like that. So that's why, I think the apprenticeship model can be, something that's a good draw. And then also just making sure that students feel connected in their educator preparation programs. I know that as a high school teacher, I'm always inviting students into the profession. That's something that I learned from Sharif Al-Mekki. Yeah. He's the head of the Center for Black Educator Development. And he always talks about that. So I do that. Like I talk to students. I say, like, did you ever think about being a teacher? and we talk about why they may or may not have thought about it. And sometimes they'll say, hey, maybe my experience wasn't that great, but I let them know that that's okay. You can design your own classroom. You can be the opposite of what you had experienced. Yes. Yeah. But I think that sometimes, because listen, everybody's in this. We got to work together. Yeah. But I do believe that sometimes in our educator preparation programs, sometimes we have to change it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of students that enter because because of social justice. They want to make a change in their communities. Yeah. And I do think it's important to learn about Vygotsky and Bandura and Piaget and those individuals. But I do think it's also important so that students can see the practical connections between, what they're learning in their methods courses and how that can impact their communities. Because for many of them, that's why they came into it in the first place.
And there's a big disconnect. The other thing, and I don't know if your research would verify any of this, they're tired of hearing me talk about it, but when we're looking at underrepresented kids in gifted and advanced programs, we're missing a ton of kids. And some of those kids, we're missing them because of the systems that are in place that don't allow for them to be found. And then when they are found, the services that are provided aren't commensurate with where they need services. And I think sometimes that some of that is also connected to this pipeline for teachers. If I'm missing kids in this that feel successful and feel seen and feel valued and recognize that they are making strides towards their advanced learning, I think if we did a better job of finding these kids in schools, we might have more teachers who could be like, okay, now I went through a system that is validating my way of thinking and it doesn't fit the traditional norm of how school has been. Maybe I can then go into the study of education.
No, I totally agree. I think that there are some students that say this wasn't good for me. Yeah. So I'm not really sure if this is what I want
to do this for my career. Yeah. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
You were talking about the cycle of mentoring, and that really strongly hit a chord with me from remembering what it was like even for me as a student and then where I'm at now in my life. And you described perfectly how it was going. I remember when I was a student, people would tell me I have a face for radio. And
no, he's like, no, that's not cool.
Yeah, Leon, thank you for. He's like, no, I don't. I disagree. Thank you, Leon. But they would tell me things, and I would say, nobody can see what he did or didn't say. So people would tell me things, and like you described, I'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't see that in myself. We've talked about this before, that we're in high school and we're trying to figure out what is our career. I'm like, I don't know these things about myself. Terrible. I haven't been put in the position to learn that. So having a mentor, as you're describing, Leon, is so powerful to say, I really see this in you. Maybe it's just part of who you are, but it could also be something that you want to explore. And I've certainly felt that shift into that spot where now we are kind of a lead mentor, right? Because I think we even have mentors now. I have someone who's, multiple people who I'll talk to and I want to learn more from and tell me more about life. My questions have changed and, my experiences inform those questions. But it's this interesting cycle that continues on. There's a saying that the more you notice, the more you know. If you don't notice something about yourself, you can't really know it about yourself or learn more about it. So that's really the power of the mentor. But then on the flip side of that is, then the more you know, the more you notice. So you're holding this candle up to these students and you're saying, hey, look, just think about this. Or, I'm encouraging them to get into education if it makes sense, but it might lead them to other places that they didn't even expect. And so really, it ultimately makes me think of something Aristotle said, which was the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Mm-hmm. And that's really where I think we are as educators. We're kind of sitting in that spot where it's like, oh man, I can hear from you, this love of learning, give me more. And then as you learn more, you're like, oh man, there's even more to find out.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think, especially at this moment too, I think that there's so much that we are faced with. I think this post-COVID, I don't even know if you want to say post, but this environment that we're living in now, I think there's a great opportunity to try to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all students. Yes. And how can we do that? Certainly there's new tools out there. Obviously, AI is a new tool, but I do think it's important for us to focus on, think about Jalen Hurts. I'm coming from the Philadelphia area and keeping the main thing. Yep. And when we think about the idea of learning and best practices, we need to center that. But also just what do our classrooms look like? Yeah. How can we create spaces that meet the needs of this current generation? One of the things that's so I don't know, powerful. I've been reflecting on this. Like, I've seen education change in my career, during my career.
So much.
And and it's so like, to me, I don't know. It's like weird. Like, because as a historian, like, I read about things, but I'm at the point in my life now where I'm actually like, whoa, like, this is different.
Yeah.
And I actually can tell it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so as educators, how can we meet the needs of this new population of students? How can we get them connected to their communities? They're excited to learn, but they don't want to just stay here. They want to do something with it. And, I just want to make sure that we take an opportunity to jump on this time period, because a lot of people right after COVID say, well, let's go back to normal. And I don't know.
What a wasted opportunity. We had such a great opportunity to manipulate systems in a different way that would meet our kids' needs, and we kind of dropped the ball.
And normal is always evolving. I found that in most of my conversations are like, well, I know it's not normal. And my response is like, well, we all kind of define our own normal. Like, what does normal look like to you in that space? I don't know. They have to
change. But that's the constant.
Yes, normal is change. But I guess what I'm saying is I find that a lot of people feel like they have to justify what they're doing versus being like, this post-COVID world, like it's should be very open. I think, human instinct and nature is like, let's get back to where we were at, but this is the new normal, whatever that word actually means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And our students are different. We're all different.
Yeah.
That was obviously a major inflection point. And I think we're really trying to figure out now what we can do to try to meet the needs of our students. I think there's some positive things happening where, even as educators, the language has changed. Now we say like, how can we support you? Right. Like, it's not just like, hey, I asked you to do this thing, you didn't do it, so now go over there. Like, now it's like, okay, well, let's sit down together. Let's figure this out. What were some obstacles? Like, it's a partnership. Yeah. And I think, I've seen that change, which I think is a positive thing.
Yeah. It's teaching them responsibility and how to be an active member of the community. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a 2-part question for you. Your passion just exudes coming at you, just speaking to you. So this is awesome. You've been doing this for 25 years. 2-part question. What do you see as the biggest change in yourself from when you first started to now?
Good one.
I can feel when you're speaking just your passion. How do you not get burnt out? Because there's a lot of people out there.
2 very good ones.
You either do a great job of hiding it or
this has now become a 3-part episode.
Yeah. Maybe we just need you in it.
It's going to turn into like a couch.
SEL. Yeah, SEL.
And get in the couch real quick.
Yeah.
The first one is really interesting. I'll probably think of something that has really been on my mind lately. And I would say, as I became a parent, next year will be the first year that my daughter will be the same age as the students that I teach.
Wow.
Oh.
And I've been really reflecting on that, because it's like such a heavy moment for me, because it's always been such a gap.
Yeah.
And now it's not. And so as a result, I see the students differently. I've always loved my students, but I just see them differently. I think I have a different perspective because many of the things that are happening in their homes are happening in my home, right? It's like, okay, who's going to practice? All right, who's taking this person here? And so I think that hopefully I've provided more grace and understanding and empathy. We had to read this book, Culture, Responsive Teaching and the Brain by Zaretta Hammond. And one of the things she talks about is being a warm demander. And so certainly I'm someone that has high expectations, but I also create an environment where the students know I love them and I care for them, and it's an environment of support. And I think that as I've become a parent, I think I've been better at creating those environments, because like I just understand young people because I have my own, and I have a better understanding of like, you in front of you, this is someone's like most valuable thing. Like in front of you, this is something that somebody loves to the end of the earth. And I love my children in that way. So like, I'm like, okay, let me make sure that we're thinking of that. So I would say that for the first question. And then the second question, I'm very blessed. Like my wife, my family, like I don't do this by myself in any way. Like if I didn't have that support system, I wouldn't be able to do it, because so much of life is like a partnership and working together with people. And just the fact, because my wife is an educator as well. And so the fact that I have the ability to go to conferences and, that's because the other person is like, all right, cool. Like you're going to
take up the load a little bit.
Exactly. And I would also give a shout out to my mom, because my mom was a longtime educator in the school district of Philadelphia. And when I think about my career, I've always been able to go to her and just ask questions. And she's like, hey, here's a book because my mom was a principal for a long time. So she's like, here's a book that I've given to my teachers. Here you go. Like, and so I just feel like I've always had a support system, whether it's like emotional, but also like pedagogically, just mentorship, all of that.
That's a great answer.
I don't have a great segue from what you just said, because that was obviously multiple excellent answers. But I want to ask you this question. Besides you, I've never met a PA teacher of the year.
You met an almost PA teacher of the year, Colleen.
True. I've met many, and that's the thing. There are so many great teachers, right? And you even said that in your speech. Like any one of us could be up here because they're all a great bunch. And there's Pennsylvania's filled with amazing educators. I want to ask about the life of a teacher of the year and what that looks like.
Different.
Like, do you have to give back the Cybertruck? Do you get to keep it?
Cybertruck?
Are you like the president? Like you're going to have security detail for the rest of your life? Is it just for this year? Those are my questions.
Well, listen, I would first say that it has been such a blessing and an honor because I love teaching. Like, it's interesting. I've gone to workshops before where they've said like, all right, write down like different identity questions, like who are you? And then like the first thing is like, but you can't say your job. And like I sit there for a minute, I'm like, wow, that's really bad because like
my job is my identity sometimes.
So much of who I am is an educator. But it's been an honor. It's been a whirlwind. There's been so many marvelous things. I've had the opportunity to speak to pre-service educators at different colleges in Pennsylvania. I've had the opportunity to give keynote addresses to programs into the teaching profession. I've been tremendously blessed. I had the opportunity to be on the Today Show. And so I think for me, it's a great chance to now have a platform to talk about something that has been like something that I've talked about for years, and that is how we can recruit, retain, and hire more educators, specifically educators of color. Yep. And it's been something that has been a passion of mine. And now I say, wow, like I have this platform where I can really share my story because, when I think about Teach Plus and the policy work that I've been involved with, I didn't even really know that I had a story. I didn't even know that was a thing. And as I learned about op-ed writing and as I've learned about meeting with legislators, just how important it is to share that story so that they can get an understanding of like what's going on in our classrooms because they don't always know. And, it's so important that they hear from us. So that has been the most exciting thing. And then I would also say, I think that many of the students that I've interacted with over the years, they have just reached out to me. Like it just has doubled down on that whole idea of the impact of a teacher. I've been so tremendously blessed. Like people that I taught like 20 years ago, 23 years ago, email me and just let me know how they're doing. And so that's what I tell other people. I say like, this is so great. Like the fact that you can be someone that possibly someone may never forget. You can have that type of impact on someone's life. And so I've enjoyed it. I'll also say it's a lot. It's a very hectic schedule. When I've talked to people from other states, sometimes people are surprised that I'm not on sabbatical.
Yeah.
They'll say, oh, are you still teaching? And I say, yeah, I'm grading papers and writing lesson plans and PLCing and, doing all of that, But I've been very fortunate. And I will also say, too, I'm just very happy for the community here in Havertown. I'm so fortunate to have the administration. Like they have allowed me to, last year, I missed a lot of days because I had to go to different events and things. And my administration has embraced that. And I think it's good for the community. It's good for the school that, people that go here, can have that type of recognition.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to make a special note of your intentional avoidance of the question about the security detail, which in itself is an answer. Okay.
He's got five security guards surrounding him on the other side of the camera. I'm just looking at this
wall of people behind him, and I'm wondering if any of them are going to talk, and they haven't.
I will say this though, my children, because they're young, but they like my son, like he'll say, "Dad, you're famous now. You're famous, Dad."
That's nice because mine would be like, "Mom, you're cringy." Well, chuggy is probably what they would say, not cringy, chuggy.
And I'm like, okay, yes, yep,
That's nice.
I am, son. I am. Son.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool that my children were there. They got an opportunity
awesome.
to see that. Cool. As parents, we always want our children to be proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so happy. The one moment that stands out, Andrew, definitely meeting you stands out.
Oh, well, thank you, Leon. Thank you.
Now
That's coming from, I wouldn't tell everyone, that's coming from the teacher of the year who's saying it was a joy to meet me.
Not
Thank
gonna
you,
fit
Leon.
through the door anymore, Leon.
Please. He was going on, folks. Let him continue.
But it really got me because after the ceremony was over, my son came up to me and I was holding it together. Mm-hmm. And then my son came up to me and it was just waterworks.
Yeah.
And it was, that's a moment I'll never forget.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
This is a question. It's important. Is there a podcaster of the year? Because I would like one of you to nominate me for that.
I'm sure there is a podcaster of the year, but
Leon's going to win that too. So.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Leon. Yeah, great.
I'll get a vote for you guys. I love your interaction because I listened to one of your episodes prior to coming on, and I love the back and forth. It's really cool.
It's definitely real life. This is what it's like on and off the air. We don't pretend.
And the behind the scenes is that we all love being with each other and spending time together. So it's
Tony and I enjoy each other a little bit.
And I love tagging along, clearly. but it's three friends who are just so committed to what we're doing and passionate about education and all in for everything that you're saying. We're like, yes, this man needs a platform, and we know you had one, but we also want to put it on our podcast so
4 more people can hear it.
Yes, and that would be our parents. And
anytime we can work a jail
and hopefully your son.
Here, I'm in for it too.
Let's add your kids, Leon. Let's have them listen. So
they will. I'm gonna tell them to be like, Dad, they're gonna be so excited.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So Leon, one of the things that we'd like to do, a tradition here on our podcast, is to give our guests the second to last final thought. And we took a vote before we started, and it was that I had to give the final thought. So we're going to give you the second to last final thought.
It was a unilateral decision.
Well, first of all, again, thank you for, giving me the time to be here. And I think one of the things I'm really thinking about right now is not only how we can get more teachers into the profession, but how we can keep veteran teachers there. Yep. And one of the things when I was listening,
especially in the schools that need the veteran teachers to be there. I know when I was in Philadelphia, the attrition rate was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the things that I've really been interested in lately is the strategic staffing model, where we're looking at how teachers can be mentors, how they can be coaches, but they can still be teachers. And I just think that helps on both sides. It helps because now as a veteran teacher, you've had your administrator come to you and say, hey, like, we see something in you, like you're special. We want you to now kind of be a leader of like 3 other teachers, some novice teachers. Yeah. And then on the other side of it, we know the attrition rate for teachers 1 through 5 is very high. So now you have this master teacher who feels validated. You have teachers that are early in their career that is going to get that mentorship. Yeah. And so I think, and they're going to hopefully stay in the profession. And, some people don't want to leave the classroom, but they want something. They feel like they want to do something else. And so for me, that's been really something I'm passionate about. And I'm starting to hear it gain a little bit more traction, this idea of strategic staffing. So hopefully that'll be something that kind of picks up soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Instructional coaching on steroids.
I was going to do a throwback to something you said earlier. However, you queued it up just like we rehearsed so beautifully, Leon.
Oh, man.
And
I'm so sorry.
The thing that you said was teachers can't pour from an empty cup.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And what that reminded me of was that when your car battery dies and you need to jump, you're actually borrowing some of the energy from another battery to get your car up and running. Well, if someone's walking around constantly jumping other people's batteries, eventually their battery runs down and they can't continue to be that person. And we see that transition in educators when they're like, I'm drained. I got nothing left. I've done nothing but give. It can be a system that takes and takes and takes. So hearing your advocacy for healthy balance, for empowering each other, for building up leaders, because a lot of times you'll be a leader in your classroom, but maybe not recognized as a leader within the bigger system or within the school. So I greatly appreciate your encouragement of that and how you're saying, let's validate those that have been here for a while, because honestly, that's a lot of how our society works. We value older individuals who've been there before us. And if we're going to go full circle with this, Leon, it comes back to what you were talking about being a mentor. You're looking ahead saying, look, there are mentors ahead of me who have been here longer than me. And how can we value what they have to say? Because I'm listening to them. I want to hear what they have to say. We all should be doing that. And we could learn a lot. Well, education does look different. Well, it is changing. There are still valuable things that we can take away from those that have been there before us and have walked before us, and we can learn from them, but also have a lot of value added, which you're showing as well. So, Leon, it is our pleasure to have had you
meeting you
here on the
so
show.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You're someone to watch, someone to follow, and most importantly, someone to listen to. So thank you for adding to our show. It's been a pleasure. And for all of our listeners, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share.
Send us some messages with some identifying information.
Yeah, so we can get back in touch.
Fan mail. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been so great. Like, this is, to Leon's point, this is becoming at what we've always wanted to be, is a multi-way conversation.
Yeah.
And we love hearing from our fans, but give us a way to get back in touch with you, because we want it to be a conversation, not just
Fans. It feels weird to call them fans.
right.
Listeners.
Listeners.
People who accidentally
Andrew
find
believes
their
fans
way
of
to our
Patrice, maybe
podcast.
not
Andrew
fans of
believes they're
Andrew.
fans.
All of my fans. Well, I'm working on podcast of the year, so I'm working on my speech.
His head's not going to.
Thanks again, Leon. This
Thanks,
was
Leon.
awesome.
No
Pleasure.
problem. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Hey, we appreciate you, Leon. Take care. Excuse me, we need the two-time heavyweight champion of the world and the teacher of the year, Leon Smith. And for lunch today, we have tater tots.
This is like a 45-minute announcement.
That's all right. That's all right.